Hey everybody, David here, and today I want to talk about The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 7, Chapter 15, The Believer. And wow, this was another great episode. I'm telling you, this season has already, well, it surpassed Season 2 for me by the time we hit Episode 3 or 4 of this season, for sure. Maybe 4 or 5, yeah. This has been a great season, and this episode continues to be great. I'll admit, though, it wasn't as good as the last two episodes, but still a great episode overall. That's not knocking this episode out of the park. And we got Rick Famuyiga to, I know I mispronounced that name, and I apologize. Who came back to direct this episode? He directed the second and I believe the fifth episode of last season, or sixth episode. He did a terrific job last season. I think this season continues. He continued to do such a great job. Bill Burr returned as Mayfeld, and I really thought he was great in this episode. So basically, the episode starts off where we left off last time, where Mando goes and asks Cara Dune for help to get Mayfeld out of prison. Or wherever he's being held captive. And they go and they get him out. And at first, Mayfeld is a little bit hesitant and he's like unsure if he wants to go. And eventually, Mando convinces him and he said, look, he realizes he has no other choice. He can either stay in that dump where he was at or get out of here and have some fun. So he decides to have some fun. Because going on an adventure with Mando, it's always going to get you into trouble. And who doesn't have fun with that, right? I thought it was funny that he didn't recognize when Boba Fett was the first one to come out of the ship. He thought that was Mando at first, and then he realized it wasn't, and then Mando came out, and he was like, "Oh crap!" So that was a little funny interaction there. And then they go to this planet because they have to get this information to find the child, right? Grogu. And when they get there, there's all this talk between Mayfeld and Mando about taking off the helmet. Like, why do you have this thing on? It's like, you people always have to have this thing on or something. And I don't mean you people, So he's like giving this idea of like how people are made to believe that they have to live one way, but really they can live other ways because we all go through different lives and view the world differently. And that kind of, I was starting to think when they were having that conversation that I wonder if we'll see Mando take off his helmet by the end of the season. And shockingly enough, they do not even wait for next season or at the end of this episode, or at the end of the next episode. Which I thought was going to happen. I thought they would save it for the finale. They decide, no, we're going to do it right now in this episode. That's why we're foreshadowing this conversation now. We're having this conversation now because it's foreshadowing what's going to happen later on in the episode. Because Mando, he was very uncomfortable when he realized he had to change his suit to disguise himself to get into the base where the Empire is hiding. And I like that we got to see a world that doesn't trust neither the rebellion or the Empire. I thought that was pretty cool too. So the interaction, I think, between Mayfeld and Mando were really the strengths of this episode, getting to see them work together a lot more. I was kind of sad we didn't get to see too much of Boba Fett working together with them, but I'm going to guess we're going to get a lot more Boba Fett in the finale, helping Mando out, kicking some ass. Din Djarin, if you will. So when they get to this place, we kind of see a different look at the Empire, right? Because they get attacked, Mando and Mayfeld, by these pirates or whatever, by these people that just randomly attack them, and then they're saved by the Empire. I thought it was the rebellion at first, but then I took a closer look at the ship that blasted them, and I realized, oh no, those are TIE fighters. So once they get to the base and the recruits come and help them, they get to this base and we see the Empire cheering because, yeah, we won. We bet those sons of bitches. And it was actually interesting seeing that side of the Empire, because we never really got to see what happens when they win a war. Do they celebrate and shit like that? It was like they won a victory, but it was like kind of seeing a different perspective of it. You know what I mean? So that was pretty cool. So once they infiltrate the base, Mayfeld and Mando, they have to look for this machine, and they find it to put in the key to get the information. And Mayfeld recognizes somebody that might recognize him, and that's when Din realizes that he has to take off his helmet and go in there and do something. At first, he tries without his helmet, but then when the computer scans him, it didn't read his face, right? So he had to take his helmet off and scan his actual face. And I didn't think Mayfeld would come and see it. There was a part of me thinking, are they gonna show? Are they gonna let Mayfeld find out what Mando actually looks like? And they did, and I was shocked. And obviously Mayfeld helped him out of the situation. But it was interesting to see, it was great to see Pedro Pascal act his way out of all of that, because you could see how nervous he was, as he's supposed to be, acting wise, how great he was. And it would be nice to see more of his face, because Pedro Pascal is a great actor, and I think this scene alone proves how good of an actor he was, reading all the emotions on his face as he's going through all this, the tension in that scene, when the federal agent guy, whatever, what the commander, whatever you want to call him, when he was like coming up to him and asking, hey, what's your TK number and all that, and then Mayfeld comes and gets him out of it. Yeah, the action was also really cool in this episode. It wasn't too much meat there in terms of story, but I thought it was a really nice. Most of the Mandalorian episodes are pretty simple, and I think that's what works for the show. It's that they don't need to be overly complicated. I know some shows think they need to be overly complicated sometimes, but this is proof that I don't think you really need to. You can have a really enjoyable show as long as it's done really well. And with Mandalorian, you got a good amount of time in each episode that you don't really need to stretch it or shorten it that much, depending on what's given to you. And I felt this episode really smoothly went. What I was really surprised about, though, was that we didn't get Grogu at all in this episode. Like, no Baby Yoda at all. And my mom loves spoilers, so I tell her some of these things sometimes. I keep the spoilers away from my brothers, but when it comes to my mom, I'll let her know a couple of spoilers, because I watch it very early in the morning, and she doesn't see it until the next day. And I told her that Baby Yoda isn't in this episode, and she was so sad because my mom loves Baby Yoda. The whole show, that's really the cash cow of this show. And when I told her Baby Yoda doesn't even show up, she was like, I don't want to see it. I'm like, come on, watch the episode. You're going to enjoy it. So, yeah, it was interesting not seeing Grogu in it at all. So then at the end of the episode, after they get away from the Empire and all that, they do Cara Dune and didn't decide to let Mayfeld go. They say, go, you did a good job, man. And that was kind of their bonding moment, It's like they earned each other's respects, and Mayfeld is like a happy man, walks free. Bill Burr was great in this episode. I really liked him in the last episode that he was in, but he really showed a different side of this character that I think you really liked him. The last time we saw him, he was more of a character that, like, he's an asshole. And I hope he dies. But this, and that's what the character was supposed to be. In this one, you see a different perspective from him, and you actually care about him a little bit more. You see, oh, he's actually not as bad as we thought he was. And Bill Burr is a really good actor. I saw him in the movie this year with Pete Davidson, The King of Stratton Island, and he was really great in that movie also. So we know he can act, and he's proved it again in this episode. Yeah. And then after that, we do get Moff Gideon, and we see him in the ship, and he gets the female security guard, whatever, tells. There are Star Wars fans that are gonna be so pissed off at me. It's security guard, David. I'm sorry, okay. I don't know every rank that every officer in Star Wars Galactic Empire what they do. Okay, I know the major characters like Emperor Palpatine and Din Djarin and Boba Fett and stuff like that. Don't ask me to name what this ranking officer is. But we've seen her in the last couple of episodes with Gideon. She tells them that there's a message, and they look at the message, and it's Din Djarin saying, "Hey, you better watch out because I am coming for you." And Moff Gideon does not look happy, and it's the easiest paycheck that Giancarlo Esposito has ever received, just like Mark Hamill did in in The Force Awakens, where he didn't have to say a thing. He just had to show emotion, and that was about it. So, yeah, this was a great episode. I really thought it was great leading into the finale for next week. I think the finale is going to be one of the longer episodes of the season. I don't know what to expect because I'm gonna be honest. The trailers for season 2 showed us only what the first 4 episodes showed us, and then since then everything else after the first 4 episodes, I'm a blank slate because they didn't show us anything. Rumors have it is that everybody that we've seen this season is gonna be an Avengers style team up, and they're gonna save baby Grogu. Maybe we're going to see a Jedi, which my prediction is still Luke Skywalker. Some people think Ezra, but after the Ahsoka Tano announcement yesterday, I think they're going to save Ezra for the Ahsoka series since that's more tied into Rebels, and you can continue more storylines from Rebels in that show. But you'll never know. I mean, Sabine Wren from Rebels is a Mandalorian also, and she could pop up in this show. It wouldn't surprise me. So, I don't know what to expect from the finale. I'm just expecting something badass, and I can't wait. So, guys, tell me your thoughts on this most recent episode of the Mandalorian. What did you think of it? Did you miss baby Grogu? Did you think that Grogu should have been in this episode? Or you say, hey, no, this show that shows that it can work without little baby Grogu. We were good with one episode without him. And it shows that, hey, maybe once in a while, maybe this was like testing the waters to see how people would react if Grogu wasn't in there. Because lots of people who are not Star Wars fans, like my mom and my brother's wife, they are people that are not huge Star Wars fans, but they're watching this show because they love that baby. I'm curious to know how people like that are going to react. So comment below. Let me know if you know people that are like that. Tell me what their thoughts are. I'm curious. Or send them this link and tell them, hey, this guy wants to know what you're thinking. Let him know. So with that being said, guys, I hope you like this video. Please subscribe to my channel and comment below because everything helps. Apparently there's an algorithm, I've talked about this a little bit before, that if you comment and like on videos, it helps the video algorithm up a little bit, and will hopefully other people will find my video easier that way. So with that being said, until next time, everybody, take care.